Hello friends, welcome. So today I will be doing a video on wax seals, all things wax seals, and this is a video that I've been meaning to recreate for some time now. I have done a video previously um, on this one set that I was reviewing that I have bought and I loved it, and I realized that I missed a lot of stuff in that video and that I needed to redo a whole new video on wax seals. If you haven't seen that video, I'll go ahead and link it below as well. There are a few things that I did say in that video that you may be interested in hearing. I have here a little notepad, as you see. This time I actually took some notes on things that I wanted to mention so that I don't forget. So here are some uh, seals that I have here. I'm going to be using all three. So you need a torch for these like candle-like ones. And then I have some glitter here on the side. And then I have this little tray that my friend actually gifted me after seeing the last video. She was so kind to gift that to me. And I have two glue guns, so this one, and then I have another smaller glue gun because the size of the glue sticks do vary. You may have a smaller glue stick like this one, as you can see here, and then a large one like this one. I got at Michael's, and also depending on the type of glue stick you use or medium, they're depending also on the price, right? Some of them are thicker and some of them are thinner. Those little um ones in the tray there, as you can see, those are a little thinner. And my friend got me these with the set here, as you can see. And then I'm just showing you the different sizes as well of the frames here for the stamp itself, right? This is like the smallest little stamp I have, and then they go up, so it's like half an inch to an inch to 1.5 inches to like 2 inches, right? Like some of them are huge, some of them are very small, so they do vary in size. And I did want to note that because depending on the size that you use will determine how much wax you actually need to apply and put down, right? Also, they vary in different sizes and shapes, right? So I never even realized how many different varieties there were, like how many shapes and sizes and all this to it. When I first started off, right, I had no idea how much was involved with this whole thing. And so I've been doing wax seals now for some time and playing around with them, and I feel like I have learned quite a bit. So I wanted to share my tips and tricks with you all. So I have all these items, as you can see here. I'm also going to be using those markers to go ahead and color in the lettering or some of the details in there. And then I also have these black wax seals. And yeah, I'm going to give you more insight on all the colors of the wax seals and what have you. But I just wanted to read real quickly some of the tips that came in here. And it says that you should always have like low temperature, right? Low temperature is key. Make sure your stamp is good and cold prepared. Prepare a cold pack to keep the stamp on it so it won't get stuck on the wax each time. If your wax is boiling, cool it down before you start pouring the wax so that it won't create those messy bubbles. And then also practice on a cookie sheet or some kind of a non-stick surface. And also a glue gun wax seals is always the best option if you're mass producing um, for things such as like a large wedding or whatever you plan to do, right? Because it does take a lot of time with those other methods. And I know in my last video I mentioned like how excited I was for the glue gun, and I was kind of downplaying the other two ways, but honestly each of them have its has its own um you know its own pro and con, right? And I'm gonna kind of go into a little bit of all of that as well, like what I like about each different method. of doing wax seals. And then what is not so great. So obviously with the glue gun, it's just so much easier and faster. However, if you don't have the ability to plug in right to something or somewhere, let's say you're out on a trip somewhere and you just don't have the capability to plug in for whatever reason, then maybe the wax seal using the candle might be a little more uh, what you need at that time, right? And then also just if you want to kind of go back to like in the 13th century with like the Middle Ages, did it that way, right? That was the original form with candle wax. And so I also have this non-stick little tray, as you can see there. I showed that in my last video. Again, I'll be linking all the products that you see here that I've purchased myself. Some things were gifted to me from friends, but whatever I have here that I personally purchased, I'll go ahead and link that below. I'm also going to be using all those little tools that you've seen there, and you'll see how I use them throughout. So if you want to go ahead and craft with me and do this with me, you can go ahead and take out your items as well, maybe some of your wax um, sticks and glue gun or whatever you have, whatever method. I have all three so far here. I'm not sure about any other method as of right now, but I think this is the primary methods for right now, right? You have this either wax stick or the glue gun or this little tray with the handle there that you put over a little candlestick. So this way might be the longest method. And actually this color, the red, was traditionally used by men or like government officials. Um, and it was mostly used originally when it first started off for government use, military use, and mostly men would use this color as well. So it was a very formal color to use. The use of wax seals began in the Middle Ages and was originally reserved for like the wealthy and the ruling class, and they were used for issuing official documents and legitimizing like the authenticity of the official documents, right? So similar to how we use a notary today, the use became widespread, and by the 13th century, were used by common people. And so, yeah, all the different colors kind of vary. And so here it's kind of hard to get like that perfect wax seal as well. So if you're not looking for that perfect wax seal and you're just trying to like get that kind of original feel and the way they did things back then, but this will be the best method for that. And also of course if you have time, right, because it does take a little longer, you kind of don't want to use this for like mass making unless you have like plenty of time and you want to do it this way. Also you need some kind of fire or a torchy little mechanism to light that as well. And I noticed if you put it a little closer to the seal on the bottom, it kind of burns quicker, but you don't want to put it too close to where it burns the seal, of course, because you don't want it too hot and then you don't want it to set off in flames, right? And so here what I was doing, actually, I didn't want a perfect seal because I was going to be cutting out these images and then placing them again. So this is like a little trick that you can do when you like kind of cut it out. As you can see, I'm cutting out this heart. And you'll see later on how I placed these hearts back into the wax seal to create a really cool two-tone feel. And the same thing with this flower. So I wanted to cut out like the red flower and like that, and then just re-put it inside there. And you can do that with all of them, right? Like fussy cut around them and pick and choose what kind of colors you want to, what kind of colors you would like to use. Also, if you're looking to like recreate, the same thing, or use the colors the way they did back then, right? Need to get some more of this red. I love it. It's more like a burgundy tone, right? Like a deep red. And that was pretty much the common used color, right? So also green was used for like a friendship letter or what have you, but if they didn't have green, then they would just use red, right? You kind of use what you have. And so here you're seeing me take some pieces of wax seals that I was using and kind of messed up, or like the excess, right, that I had fussy cut around it. And I'm just heating that up here in this little tray. And that's one of the pros about this, is that if you have something that you messed up or you didn't like, you can go ahead and reheat it and use this little tray for that. So that's one of the pros that I do like about this method, is you're able to reheat and reheat the items and then reuse them on this tool. And so also with colors, like I did mention, that men traditionally use this red, a deeper or a red color, and women typically you would use a more rosy rose color. And so you see here the effects that I was going for, right? The two-tone colors. I didn't like the way that one came out, so I'm just going in, putting it back in this tool and reheating it. You can definitely do that for any of the oopsies or anything that you didn't really like the way it came out. And then also, mixing up colors, getting different colors. You can also play around with that and see what comes out. Like, you can maybe get like that marble effect. You can also use a little tool to like, turn or mix it up like this. I'm just using one of these sticks here that I had. One of these craft sticks or wooden sticks, whatever you have, you can use to go ahead and mix that up. That is also something you may want to have on hand when using this specific method. You do sometimes need to mix up the wax inside the tray before you go ahead and apply, to make sure that it's nice and even and everything is mixed well. You do not want to overheat it, and you could overheat it on here. Sometimes when the flame is going for so long, or if it's touching very closely, it could come to a boil, and you want to avoid that, because then you get a lot of those bubbles that just are not very appealing to the eye. And yeah, I mean, if that's the effect you want and you're going for like that bubble look, then by all means go ahead and boil it. But if you want it to be nice and smooth, then I would avoid getting the wax too hot. And if the wax does appear very hot and bubbly, you may want to wait before putting it down or before stamping. Um, yeah, that's just another tip and trick, I guess, that I learned along the way with playing around with these. You can see there I'm using my glue gun on the other side, and I'm just going to be applying a bunch. Here, the black, it appears, I don't know if it's black or blue, or I think it might have been a light purple with the black. It's kind of mixing in there, so it kind of makes that marble effect if that's what you're going for. You can see here that I cut out this little angel around it. You can go ahead and color that in as well with some kind of paint or marker. Um, and yeah, before you take these wax seals off, you want to make sure that they're cool. Or you can see there that one broke. I think it was too hot, and so I'll just be cutting that up and re-putting it in the pot to make a new color or what have you. So sometimes that happens with these other methods, right? If you use the glue gun, you kind of avoid all that stuff, like it overheating, because the glue gun keeps a certain temperature to where it doesn't come to that boil. And so you're less likely to have those bubbles with the glue gun. Also, it's always pretty consistent, right? The way the wax seal will come out. You're not sure how it's gonna come out using the other tray method. Um, yeah, you can't really control any of this. It's more controlled using the glue gun, of course, and so that the glue gun has lots of pros in that case as well, right? That could be a con for this, but I feel like it's good to have or to try out all methods and just see kind of what works best for you. Some people may like, one more over the other, or if you're using it for different things, right? Um, or want to create a different feel or look. All of them has its own pros and cons, like I mentioned in the beginning. And so you can go ahead and play around with these and figure out what is your preferred method. And I also have these cool little tools that you can also use. I'll have them linked below. I got these off of Amazon, and one is like a circle. They also had different kinds of shapes you can get. And then I had one with like a little rounder edges that go around, and it makes this really, really cool effect that it looks, it's kind of it's controlled, but it looks it's not that perfectly round circle. You'll see I do a couple there. And over here I kind of just shaped it to when I was applying that glue, the wax on the side there, I kind of shaped it as the bear shape that I was working with there, as you can see. Um, and so yeah, if you're doing like a round, like a circle or an oval, you may want to put the wax down like in an oval shape. And so you can see here, that's kind of the effect that I got with using that little tool there. And I'll go ahead and link that below if you're interested. All the links below will be affiliate links from Amazon, and I get a very, very, very small commission for using those links. If you uh, if you use those links, and if you do use the links, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. um, Also, I'm gonna be using this marker here to go ahead and color in the letters to make it pop more. It just gives it that pop. You can use all kinds of different colors. You can even use paint, like I said, like acrylic paint or whatever medium you have. Just play around with it and see what works best for you, what colors you like. um, I typically use the gold or the silver, and then kind of just color in different places, different colors as well. I did play around with like paints and what have you in the past. Um, but yeah, I also like the method where you fussy cut out the little images, but that actually takes a lot longer, and it could be a little tricky to get it perfect as well. I'm also going to be showing you some other little tricks that you can do to make the surface really nice and smooth, or to fix any of the edges that don't come out to your liking. And so yeah, I'll be showing that here shortly. But as you can see here, you just pretty much can mass make these in any of the methods, right? Just it's gonna take a little longer. You can see here I just made this little mixture, and I threw a couple different colors that I think went well. You don't want to put any muddy looking colors in there unless that's the effect that you're looking for. But you kind of want to put colors in that match and mesh well. Like these two colors look really good together. The turquoise or blue with the purple, the orange and the pinks with the whites. Those look really lovely together. You can just go ahead and play around with it, and yeah, get a really nice marble effect. There's really no way of making them look the same, so they'll all always be very unique. Um, and yeah, with using this marble effect, there's no way of making them all look exactly the same, right? The marble effect will always come out different. And so if you're looking for that unique wax seal, This is also another method that you can use. I really love that orange with the pinks and the whites really looks really pretty together. And so you can see there it was getting a little hot. Also another con with this method is that it could be a little messy as well. You'll see here later as I'm using it, it gets really messy and dirty. Also on the bottom, it does end up charring or like, get that really crusted or like the burntness from the wax on the bottom. And so in order to avoid that, you want to keep like a little wipe on the side. I have off to the side. I also have an ice pack, as you saw in the beginning of the video. I had my little ice in like a Ziploc bag, so I have that on the side, and I'm kind of putting the wax seals on there in between, so you don't really see that much on the camera. I did show it in the beginning of the video, me putting the wax on there. Okay, so that was Paige calling me. I had to stop for a moment. But yeah, I have that off to the side, and then also I have a little wipe on the side as well, and I'm kind of cleaning the extra wax that's dripping off the edges here. If you don't have that, then it could get a little messy. You want to keep maybe um, a few wipes or some napkins or something near, because this could get very messy if you're doing a bunch at a time. Yeah, so I just wanted to note that as well. Maybe a little tip there for you. And so in the next few clips, I want to show you little ways on how you can use these in your journal. And so I learned this little trick from Christine. She kind of used her hole punch and made like half a circle and used these wax seals as like a little tab on the side. However, I thought, how cool would this be on maybe one of these little pockets here? And so this is my daughter's little journal that I made her. I have this in a flip through, if you want to go ahead and check that out. In a previous video, my flip through Fridays, you can look at the playlist there if you are interested in getting a full view, sorry, of this book specifically. But yeah, so I'm just going and cutting around that edge, and then just making sure that it's nice and smooth. You can go ahead and make the edges smooth as well, with a torchy flame, and that will look really good. So I'm just going and taking half of, like, kind of going half in, as you can see here where the pocket is, and then putting that wax seal in the middle there instead of on the top. I didn't want this to be too bulky in her book because, yeah, I just didn't want her book to bulk up too much, but I thought this flat wax seal will go good. Another way to apply it and put it down, you can go ahead and reheat the bottom with a torch like I just did, or you can use one of these little stickers as well. It's like a double-sided tape method there, as you can see. And that's just another way, or you can also just use wet glue as well. So yeah, whatever you feel or would like to use, that is best. I just didn't use the torchy too much on this because it was already very, very thin and I didn't want to warp it. But you can add glue to it. You can put a little bit of glue gun or a little bit of hot wax if you still have the glue gun there going. Yeah, however you choose to go ahead and put that down. You can use double-sided tape or glue, yeah, whatever you like. So here I'm just going and making sure that it's right in the center, and I really like that effect. You can also put it on top instead of doing the little half circle, but I just thought that gave it a little more, um, yeah, it just looked visually appealing, and it was just a little different. And she uses it as like a tab on the corner, and I thought that was just so clever. And yeah, I like that idea, and so I wanted to kind of recreate something like that here. I've also used it in my own personal journal. I'll be showing you that a little later on. But yeah, you can even put them on the envelopes like this, and here you can use some twine or some thread to go around that for more texture as well. I love the way that looks, as you can see there, something like that. And then I kind of cut the edge of it if you want the opening on the edge and you want to seal that in. Also, I have here some staples, and if you want to cover that, you can cover that as well with a wax seal or a die cut, like a little circle or whatever you want to put there as well to cover that up. So yeah, you can put these feathers. So feather was very significant back then as well. And when they would apply a feather on postage, then that kind of meant that it was like priority mail, right? Like that they wanted to go quickly and swift, right? So that's also another little item that you can apply as well, and that had significance back then, which they used uh, to signify that this was priority mail and it needed to get there quickly. And so in another video, I showed how to make these trifolds, right? And you can go ahead and check that out. I'll kind of try to have that linked as well if you're interested on the trifold video. And so another way of making a closure could be with either twine. You can put twine around it, or some really pretty ribbon, or you can just go ahead and use embroidery floss or just regular thin floss, right? And so I'm using that white and black two-tone there in the wax seal. I'm just kind of trying to use up what I had in there first, so you can see um I'm going in, making whatever I have left with that blue. And so that's what I was just showing you there. And yeah, I want to kind of empty this out, and so I'm making a ton of them. Now you can kind of see the black coming in. So that's when you get like that marble effect. And you can also, like I said, you can add glitter to these. You can add foil to them. I did do that in my last video, so you can go ahead and check that video out if you want to see how that came out. I didn't add any glitter or foil this time around, but yeah, that really makes it fun and what have you if you want to use those mediums. And so here is my folio again, and I'm gonna use this paper to go underneath it so it doesn't get stuck completely to the paper, right? Because you want to be able to open this and to take this on and off. And so you want to put like a non-stick paper underneath, like a cookie sheet or whatever you have there, and then go ahead apply that. And yeah, it should come off nicely. For some reason it didn't come off too smooth there, but yeah, it should come off pretty nicely, and it should have that effect there. You can go ahead and cut the excess string. You could either tie it in the back, or you could have just closed it in the front with the wax seal, making that all the ends in the meat in the front there, as you can see. And so I think that really looks good. That's just another idea there for what you can do or how you can use this. Again, you can use some pretty ribbon or some twine as well. And now I'm just going in with that silver marker and coloring in the flower that I had there to make it pop against those darker colors. And I really like this effect. I like the way it looks. You can also, like I said, use paint or whatever you have on hand. And I think that looks really good. If you want to see this folio, I have it in the description. And so I was making ephemera for this specific folio, and so I kind of used the same paper that I used in that pack, and I made this little mini envelope here. I think it's so adorable and so cute. And so I'm gonna leave it open actually, and you can like tuck things in there like flowers or different kind of things, I think, to pop out, and it'll make it look really cute. You can just add this as an extra embellishment in your journals or in the folio or wherever you would like to put it. I think it'll look super cute. And so yeah, I'm just going and putting that here with a little wax in the front. And I'm using a smaller seal for this since the envelope is pretty small, right? So you want to pick something that is relatable in size so that it's just not overbearing and obviously coming off of the little mini envelope. If you have a bigger envelope, then of course, yeah, any of them would do. And so here I'm just adding some thread. I think the thin thread looks really, really nice on it. And it's just so subtle, these little things that just make it pop and give it that little texture. I have so many other ideas of what you can do here. I only show you a few. I may end up doing another video to show you some more ideas. If you can go ahead and comment below your thoughts and maybe leave some ideas too that you may have, but or if you would like to see another video on these tips and tricks and other ideas that I have, go ahead and comment below so I know that people are actually interested in seeing these videos. Yeah, because I have no way of gauging really, other than, of course, the views and likes. But it's always best to get feedback in the comments. So I do appreciate your comments and the feedback that is left. Yeah. So you can see here, I'm taking off that paper in the back, and that is it. Look how cute that looks. You can go ahead and color that in or what have you. And I like the fact that it's kind of open and you can stuff it with all kinds of cute little ephemera and little decorations and things like of the sort, right? So just another way of decorating and putting these items in your journal. And I really, really like this effect, and it's just super cute, these little envelopes. And so I have here these dried up flowers, and I'm gonna be using this gypsopia, gypsophila. Okay, there we go. It's commonly called baby's breath, and the reason for that is because it is significant, is a everlasting uh love and innocence, right? And so a lot of people use these for baby showers and weddings, and they're normally used for filler and like big bouquets, right, of flowers. And so I just love this, and I think it gives a really subtle and beautiful touch to it. Also, the name comes from a small whisper of innocence, right, amongst the other flowers. And so I went and took this homemade paper and put it through an embossing folder, a flower embossing folder, and I thought this looked really pretty with it. And also, I mentioned colors before, and pink is significant for romance and passion. And so I thought all these elements together went really well. And yeah, I think the pink here looks really good. Also, when using this tool on top of items, sometimes the wax wants to move around, and it's kind of difficult to get that perfect impression over a surface, and you really need to focus here and keep that in place if you want it to be perfect, right? It's really difficult to do that over items. You may want to put a little bit of wax on it first to keep it in place, just a drop, and then go ahead and with the wax again, your wax seal, and press down again on it to try and get that really nice impression there. And so as you can see, I'm using a wax stick here for this method. And again, before I said in the beginning that it is kind of hard to do this method and get that perfect look, right? A lot of the times it's imperfect, and that's okay because for certain things you don't want everything to be like perfectly round or perfectly this shape or that shape. I think sometimes it looks really, really good just as is, right? The way it was back then. Nothing would, the wax seals weren't perfect. That's what it wasn't used for. Um but now the way people use it is more as like a decoration. And so we got used to seeing it used perfectly, or everything here, right, is just so perfect, right? And so for wax seals, they're not really meant to be that way. um they're kind of messy, in imperfect things, and I think that looks beautiful. And you can see there I have like a little drip. Also, those little drips I kind of like to save as like those little enamel dots. They remind me of those enamel dots that we use, and I like to use them as embellishments. So I also keep those, like those perfect little dots that come out of the wax when it's drying. I put that in like a little Ziploc bag, and I use that later on. Um, when I want to embellish things, I just like to glue them on the corner. So that's just another way. So here again, I have another little mini envelope in this craft paper, and I'm just wrapping this closed with some of the twine here. As you can see, I'm gonna be putting the wax actually on this completely to seal it. And so if you want to seal something, you can also do it this way, right? You don't have to always keep it open or what have you. I do put this underneath just so that it doesn't glue completely down. Um, and so yes, I use this baby's breath on here, and I'm trying to apply this tool here, and it's really difficult, like I said, to sometimes use that. So you want to just add a little drop, as you can see there. I did, and that's just to hold it down, but you want to have patience because it does need to dry. And as you can see here, I didn't really wait too long. It's best that you let it dry. Um, so yeah, and I'm holding it down in its place so that it doesn't move around. And you need to also find the right size that's gonna fit in here, right? Because not all of the sizes fit in these tools as well. By the way, I did want to note that. So you need a little, like the medium to smaller size will fit inside here. There's like the bigger ones, like I think it's like a 1.5, or yeah, 1.5 inch will not fit inside there completely. So yeah, you do want to note that what size. And so if you want to smoothen it out and not have like all those little wrinkles or what have you on there, you can also go ahead and put some heat to it. Um, and then also, if it just doesn't come out to your liking, you can also do that as well. Just put some heat to it, and it'll kind of fix it a little bit, you know. Um, and so that's what you're seeing me do here. And yeah, again, it wasn't perfect, but I'll kind of fix that later on also with some heat on the corner. And I think it came out really good. I'm going and coloring that in there, as you can see, with the silver. And this is just so cute to add as an embellishment to your journal, or what have you. I think it's another cute element that you can add there. Like I said before, oh, so this way actually I have open, right? So the other one that I did, you cannot open, and then that one I kind of left the seal on there. um but this one you can actually open. So two different or three different ways that you can do it, right? You can leave the whole flap open, not fold it, and what have you. And so there I was showing kind of like an envelope or a note you can also add as such. With the baby breath, you can add like rose petals and all different kind of greenery on here as well. I think it'll look really good. Or you can do like clusters. So that was another one of my ideas of putting like making different clusters. I'll probably do that maybe in another video, doing like some clusters with wax seals on them. I think they look really good and just great embellishments. If you don't know what clusters are, they're just a bunch of like different pieces together that you kind of like, scraps and whatnot, and you put those like layered on top of each other. And yeah, and you use them as like little embellishments in your journals and books. And so here's just like a really quick, somewhat of a cluster or idea I had. I just put yeah, those little pieces together to give like somewhat of an idea of what I had in mind. But I don't do clusters in this specific video. I'm thinking of doing another video for that. And so I had here a tag, So you can also um put this on the top of a tag, but here specifically I wanted to show you how I use this wax seal as kind of like a a not a keyring, what did I want to say? Oh, like a charm, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and use this little tool to make this little tiny hole. If you don't have a tool like this, you can use a needle or something sharp, you know, a pen, maybe, to poke a hole in there, like a really small hole. And you kind of want to use the wax, like a thicker wax seal, right? I mean, I think you can use this maybe with a cheaper one, but this wax is a little more expensive and it's a little more thicker, and so it doesn't like crack or break, right? It's not very brittle. It's a really durable, heavy wax, and so using it in this way as a charm, you know, on a bow pin, you can put it there on the corner, or you can even use it in the middle, or whatever you want to do with this. But I just had this little bead tag here, and I thought, how cute would this look with this bead tag as like a little charm just dangling down? And I just came up with so many of other ideas at this moment that I just wanted to play around with this idea specifically. But yeah, I hope this inspires you to create your own and just have fun creating, making different things. And so another thing that I thought of on the spot was to use it as a charm on a paper clip, right? So there's so many different things you can put, like a jump ring or a paper clip or whatever you have to use, and add this on there. So I just have this little top secret in gold. And you can go ahead and color in those letters if you'd like as well. And I'm applying this either at the top, you can put it on the top of your book, you know, as a little dangle, or you can put it on the side. And I'm going to show you here how cute it looks on the side of your book. Imagine having all of these just hanging out, I mean, on the top, poking out like this, or even on the side of your book like this. And I think that just looks really cute. It says top secret. And you can put that even maybe on top of an envelope, excuse me, on in your book, or what have you. And this is just another tab that I showed you on the side. You can just put like, punch it, half punch there, and you can put either even like maybe some type of cloth or dried up flour under there. I think that would look really cute. But imagine having all of these on the side of your book in all different sizes and shapes, right? There's so many different shapes. These will look so good all on the side of your book, dangling there, and so many different shapes and sizes and colors. Yeah, this is just a few ideas that I had, and I wanted to show you here. This is the tiniest little stamp I've ever seen. It's so cute. It's a little rainbow with clouds, and I just wanted to show you that here. It's just so adorable. I've never seen anything so tiny. But yeah, I've been making so many of these, as you can see. I just have so many, and I'm actually planning on listing these in my Etsy shop. The Etsy shop will be in the description box below. Oh my goodness, I have so many things I want to list there, and I just haven't got around to it, but hopefully very soon. If you're interested in anything that you see here, or any of the journals or anything like that, my email is below. You can always reach out to me through email as well. And yeah, that's probably the best way to contact me, is through my email. And so here you can see I'm fussy cutting these hearts again, as I was doing in the beginning of the video. Some of the footage got a little choppy in the beginning because yeah, it was late at night, and first it was during the day, then it got late, then I'm like, now it's moving on to the next day. And so this video has been a couple days long to film, and so sometimes that happens, right? And so it's kind of split up. But yeah, that's just a little background. So this is why it's kind of everywhere, but I hope you are following along nicely here and that you're gaining a lot of inspiration, and that if you're crafting with me, you're having fun and just enjoying the time together. I appreciate you being here with me. And so this is the method that I was telling you before. You just fussy cut that out and you put it on the top of your wax seal, and then you go ahead and reapply it back in, and when it comes out it should look like so. And I think that effect looks so cool, and you can do this with all different kinds of shapes, right? It's similar to like fussy cutting out stamps, right? Like coloring the pieces in and then putting them all together, like piecing it all together. I don't know if you ever done that with stamps, but that's also really fun. Like a stamp and an ink pad I'm talking about, not like this wax seal stamps. Um, but it's pretty much the same type of method. So you're gonna go ahead, I'm applying the pink here into the heart. So I didn't apply a lot of it, as you can see, because I'm gonna be fussy cutting that out, right? And then to make it really nice and smooth, I just go ahead and apply some heat on the top of it, and that makes it look really, really blend in nicely together. So that's just another tip there that you can do to make that wax seal really nice and smooth looking and together. You don't want to apply the heat for a long time, right? Because you don't want it to bleed out into it, but you just want to apply a little bit lightly and quickly over it to make it nice and get that really smooth, nice effect there. And then to apply and to keep it on that wax seal, you can also apply heat on there as well as the top there, as you saw me do, to kind of stick it down so that it doesn't fall into the hot wax before you get it right, like on there. Sometimes that happens as well if it's not stuck on there, and then it could kind of shift and it won't go on there perfectly or properly. Another tip, if you want to clear out your wax here in your glue gun, you can just go ahead and stick something in there like a pen or whatnot and pull it in there if you don't have any more wax, or if you just want to clear out this wax as well, whatever's left in there. Normally you can just go ahead and stick another glue stick in there, but if you don't have one, or you're ending, your session or whatever you're doing at the moment and you don't want to stick another stick in there, and you kind of want to clear that out, you can go ahead and just stick a stick or a pen or something in there to like push it through. So yeah, so also as you can see, so this was like a very oval shape, so I kind of applied the wax there like in an oval shape as the head was of that stamp, and it was black. And so now I'm going and coloring it in with this gold marker. I think it looks really, really good. You can also use like that gilding wax, like some gold gilding wax. I think that would be another easy and great way of getting the same effect. I love using gilding wax on like my book covers and like different embellishments like this on the corners. It just really gives that beautiful gold pop to it, and I think it looks really, really nice there, as you can see. You can also use different wax seals and just cut that out. I think the more intricate ones are a little harder to fussy cut, but you can still get that same effect. Just use like a small fussy cut scissor or maybe an X-Acto knife to really get into those corners. So I have this Hogswort um, wax seal, and I started using that same gold on it, and look how it just pops and it just comes out to life there, with the gold on there. Again, gilding wax can be used the same way. You can just get like maybe a little sponge or some kind of little tool, or you can even use your finger with gilding wax over it. That's also very easy and simple to do. And so here you can see I created a bunch of these, and you can color them in or you can piece them together, as you can see there. And this one I colored in with a another marker. I think it was a alcohol marker. And here are the projects. I hope you all had a great time and enjoyed this video, and I will probably be coming up with another video. I hope this was informative. And if you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I had so much fun making these. I hope you did too and gained a lot of ideas and inspiration for the future makes and creations. And yeah, I think this is just so elegant and so fun and great as an invitation you can use for a wedding or baby shower or even graduation. I know graduation season is here. And yeah, just have fun, guys, and just go ahead and create and, do what makes you happy. I love the way these turned out, and I hope you had fun creating yours as well. I don't know if I mentioned, but a black seal also signifies the mourning of someone, a death, or something really bad. So yeah, something really bad happening. So I don't know if I mentioned that, but you can go ahead and look up the meanings of all these different colors. It's really fun getting into the history of it. And I just love wax seals so much. I hope you do as well. I will see you later. Bye bye.